Let's have a look at this one here. Saxon, can you read it out for me? What do we got? Yeah, okay, so often what they do is they give you these like problems and they just, pluck them out of thin air, they pluck them out of a textbook or something like that, and they say, here's the money you've got, here's the interest you have, and calculate it for me. I always think that's a bit like disingenuous, not really real, right? Why would you get these examples from a textbook when you can actually get them from a real place? And here I've picked up the Bendigo Community Saver, and this is an actual bank account you can get, right? Now with the Community Saver, Bendigo Bank is really well known for like their accounts that give back to the community, like us, we're like recipients of that, right? A lot of the stuff that we have is from the Bendigo Bank. So, we want to, sorry? Was it about, okay. So, what I want to do is, how do we approach these kind of problems? Well, we want to, Luke, identify all the information. So what information did they tell us here, Luke?
The years.
Sorry? The years? Yeah? Good?
The value of the 2000.
Yep. That's, yep.
And 0.25 per annum.
0.25% per annum. So what I always do, I always start off by writing my formula, Samurai, yep? So my formula is this one over here. You guys all good? So, let's write this out. Now, I'm just going to write above these values that I'm given, which ones they correspond to, right? So I've got my present value, what it's worth right now. I've got the rate, and I've got n, the number of periods, I suppose, right? But the r, though, right, if you look at the r, what did I say, Ben, about the r? How do I want it, actually? I don't want it as a percentage right now. Yeah, I want it as a decimal, yeah. So, what's 0.25% as a decimal? Well, you can convert that. And what would that be? Yeah, you just divide it by 100. Okay. See, there's nothing that's changed here. These are the same thing, but there's a particular reason why I want it written like that, and I'll show you in a moment, right? Because now, when I'm putting this into my formula, my calculation, to calculate the future value, I actually want to put that in my calculator, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I've got my present value, 2,000, times 1 plus, now this is why I want this rate as a decimal. Because if I put it as a percentage, it's a bit harder to put in your calculator. I want you putting it in your calculator like this. Okay? Bailey, and I need my number of years, and then Bailey's going to calculate that for me in a moment. 2020. 0.5, cool. So, I guess the interest rate leaves a little bit to be desired. Now, typically with these answers, we'll round them to what we say the nearest cent, right? So that's 2 decimal places. So $20.08 there, nearest cent. So future value is this. Right. How do we get more money? How do we get more extra amounts? There's a few ways you can do it. Sorry? Yeah. What was that?
He said how to get more money.
Yeah. Rubber band. How do we get more money through legitimate means? There's a few ways you can do this. You can change the principal, or we can increase the rate. Now this is a bank called UBank. And so they have a better rate here, 1.6%. Let's see how much better it is. Let's use the same formula. Same thing, same information. Let's see how much more we get just by increasing the rate a little bit. Before I do that, I'm still going to write down all the information that I have. But again, like I want this rate here as a decimal. Yeah, Bowen, can you help me out? What would this rate be as a decimal? So I'm looking at the rate here. I want that as a decimal actually, because when I put in my calculator, I want to type it in as a decimal rather than as a percentage. Yeah, 0.016. Good. So then that makes it easier to put in your calculator. Do we get a little more, Will?
Extra
$11, is that all we get? Oh, that's not bad. What was your final answer?
2131.10489.
Yep. So we say the future value is 3,131.10. 10-0.
What?
Okay.
I did one before. No.
Just as a follow-up question, guys, this is not really like a math question, I suppose, but you can have a think about it. Reese, what do you reckon? Which account would you say is better? The second one, because you get more money, I guess, right? And there's an argument to say, yeah, the more money you get, the better. But typically, and this is just more of like a life lesson for you guys, typically, when you get more money, there are conditions applied to it, right? For example, the Bendigo one, that's kind of for a good cause. You're giving back to the community. With the Ubank one, there's actually some conditions for how you get this extra interest. Because actually what you have to be doing is you also have to be depositing $200 a month to get this bonus interest, right? Without it, you're not getting the full rate. And so just watch out for these kinds of calculations that sometimes they require you to deposit certain amounts or spend certain amounts. So
Are you just trying to sell us to get us to...
I'm not selling anything. I'm just saying this is what you might want to do. I'm giving you options here.
You have to put into
Second one?
into that account. That's fine.
So you get more money, but then the first one, maybe because you want to give back to the community.
Okay, so generosity or
That's what it comes down to, generosity. Neither. The answer is probably Commonwealth Bank.
Because community, I want the money.
not even charitable.
Any questions about that one? Yep? Okay.
No, we need